So we're back with another little wrestler ramble. I've realised I haven't done one in a while. And to me, I'm going to talk about today one of the, in my opinion, probably one of the definitions of a near/perfect wrestler. And that is, again, in my opinion, top 3 British wrestlers ever. And that's PAC. The Bastard PAC, also known as Neville in WWE for whatever reason. Adrian Neville, fuck you. I think PAC is so fucking good. I think just PAC's one of those guys that is seen as one of your reliable guys, but it's such a high level that it's insane to kind of conceive. The biggest issue with PAC is in AEW is, one, frankly, visa issues and injuries. That's kind of two, but, same thing, like, just absences, no real running consistency. A lot of time he's not always there. He's like the Death Rider member who isn't always present, which kind of sucks. But that's not, like, a fault on him. It's just, the system a bit, I guess. But also and this kind of isn't his problem, it isn't his fault, is the fact he's in the Death Riders kind of holds PAC back. And that sounds insane, because the Death Riders has been one of the greatest factions they've done. And yeah, it's had a rocky start, but Jesus, PAC, it's an insane faction. And everything they've done since, honestly, point is, Death Riders are fucking great. I feel like PAC is an epitome of, like, okay, you're that good, this is a great faction, this works, but also, you're better on your own. To me, I think PAC's always... The only time I've thought PAC works in a group is, obviously, with the Death Triangle, Rey Fenix and Penta, which we ain't getting that back again. So that kind of sucks. But I think just PAC singles runs with the belt, especially when he had the international belt, that whole stuff with Cassidy, that's always been great. I just think there's something so cool about PAC. The way, he's in ring style, he's one of the best ever. We'll talk about that in a minute, but Jesus, PAC is... His promo style is very chilling. Obviously, he's got the thick Newcastle Geordie accent. Even when he had the long hair, it was, and the shade, it was very intimidating, very sinister. And PAC just had this very specific, not creepy, but chilling vibe to him. It was really was a thing. And I look at, him versus Ospreay, for instance. I think that really portrayed PAC excellently. And then, as it further went on, I mean, Jesus, you go into, PAC's in-ring style. Oh my god. It's one of the most refined, perfect just styles ever. He's a high flyer, but he's a fucking perfect high flyer. I saw a post the other day where it was literally, name me, it was name better high flyers than, I think it was Ospreay at the time. And they would, doing whoever walks. And I was like, I love Ospreay. I think Ospreay is one of the greatest wrestlers ever, and I think he'll go down as that. But Jesus, I think right now, there's something different about Ospreay and PAC. That's why they mesh so well, but they're so good. And I just think with PAC's just, it's this explosiveness. Ospreay doesn't have that explosiveness. Osprey's more, not that PAC isn't smooth, but Osprey's got this different type of smoothness to him. PAC's very bang in your face, very snappy, and that's what I prefer about PAC. And obviously, PAC's built as fuck, by the way. The guy's like a fucking Dorito. It's insane. He's so good. And, I'm not one of those guys who thinks, oh, yeah, whatever, I'm not one of those biased guys who's like, oh, my countryman, PAC's the greatest ever. No, I'm not. I'm if you couldn't tell where I'm from, I'm not really patriotic. But Jesus, PAC's incredible. I mean, for me, PAC is one of those guys, because he was early AEW. I don't know if he was there for debut, but he was definitely early on. Jesus, the guy, first ever double champ in AEW. And also, for me, I think I think you look at all these guys that have been in AEW for a while, obviously Cassidy's, even Adam Cole's, he wasn't there for a while, but Cassidy being the main example, I think it's an absolute sin that we'll never get world title PAC. I think world title PAC would have been incredible. I think we need another singles PAC run again. I do. I feel like PAC's just one of those guys where whatever he does, it works. And again, similar again with Ospreay, because there is a very similar thing, vibe with the injuries and then, injury and then stuff like that. But PAC had to come back and, reinvent himself, because PAC was very quick, very, very much a luchador-styled wrestler. That's why he's worked the Death Triangle so well. But Jesus, he's slowed down, he's become a bit more weighty, but he's still so quick. He's managed to alter that style to such an excellent extent that it doesn't get the credit. It doesn't get the credit. He doesn't get the credit. Frankly, I think PAC is possibly the most underrated wrestler of our time. I do. And I don't want to say, it's hard to say an underrated wrestler. Because I think underrated wrestlers, if you say they're underrated and stuff like that, and a lot of people go, yeah, I agree, they're not then underrated. So, but for me, and everyone knows how good PAC is, it's just, I think PAC is truly, he's a guy who everything is there. Everything is, honestly, there's no work needed to PAC. Zero, no work. The presentation, he could never work in WWE to the level he is now. The Bastard, his literal ring name is the Bastard. Do you realise how peak that is? And they were never flown in WWE. But Jesus, with PAC, you look at him now, it's like there's no changes needed. In terms of character, in terms of presentation. Maybe the only thing that you could, change with PAC is what? Maybe, I don't know. There's nothing. Honestly, I wouldn't say there's anything to change. I love how now, since he's returned from the injury with the short hair, PAC's obviously wearing the singlet. He's not always shirtless, and he's a lot more calm. Because you look at early era PAC, he was very much an insane guy, which made me laugh because he had the Leo Rush match, and it was like, why is he freaked out? PAC, you were literally schizophrenic. What are you on about? But I don't know. I feel like that again. That's a great match, for example. And PAC's just versatility. That's exactly what he is. But I mean, every single aspect about PAC is nailed. I don't want to try and make this such a different conversation and try and transition it too much. But I try and use this. One of my favorite games ever is Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo. And I think Mega Man X is, I think it's not my favourite game, it's definitely not, but geez, I think Mega Man X is a perfect game, because of what it sets out to do, and at the time, everything about it, that's what works about Mega Man X, and I think the same with PAC, I do. I think with PAC, everything he does, everything he sets out to do, works. It does, and there's no alteration. It's sometimes, do I think we kind of take, I feel like sometimes the company and everyone takes a bit PAC for granted. I probably agree. I probably will agree with that. I feel like sometimes, when AEW started, you look at it, PAC was very much there, and he was very much a forefront. Look at the stuff with Kenny, look at the stuff with Hangman, stuff like that. I feel like PAC very much is a guy that helped build AEW what it is now, just being kind of established that about in-ring stuff a lot of the time. PAC's a perfect example of that. But he was never at the top of the card. He was high, but he was never top, and he's kind of just, kind of faded. Not into obscurity. Everyone knows PAC. And for me, PAC's very much a symbol of, oh shit's about to go down. It really is. And I think for me, one thing I love, and I kind of wish they did more with this, is when they did Yuta's turn on Bryan. And it was after we attacked Bryan and stuff. Tear down my face. And then thingy is, it was when they were Trios champs. And when they were Trios champs, they talked about, and it was PAC was just continuously winding Yuta up, and he just didn't give a shit. It was go on then, you know what I mean? And Claudio had to be the mediator, because obviously Claudio was a fan of Yuta. And it's just I really wish they'd done more with that, because that was kind of a good way to bleed PAC into, still having that insane, knockout, renegade type of deal, compared to how he is now, where he's Moxley's debatable most loyal soldier, him and Claudio. I like that he's obviously the upper level of the Death Riders. It's very much Moxley, Claudio, PAC, Marina's somehow in the middle of there, and then because Marina's just his right hand, and then you've got Garcia and Yuta. It's kind of like a triangle, a death triangle, and that's not even going into his Death Triangle stuff. I mean, the Death Triangle is a trio. I mean, as much as they're gone now, and in AEW, I loved Penta. I love Rey Fenix. I did. Not that I don't love them now, but it's so different, the presentation and stuff. And I think, honestly, I just love that trio. I loved everything. Honestly, most things PAC has done, I've adored. I do. I really love PAC. I think he's one of my favourites ever. And I say that about most wrestlers, but I think with PAC, it's one of those guys where it's you never really, I look at PAC and I'm you do everything insanely well. How the hell are you not talked about more? Frankly, that's what I think about PAC. And I mean that in the most complimentary way, because the guy is stellar. Again, for me, top 3 British wrestlers of all time, top of my head, he probably is. He really is. And that's not just English, I mean British. I think, You name me some British wrestlers. I don't think many are ahead of him. I think Ospreay at the minute probably isn't. I love Ospreay, but not at the minute he isn't. He probably will be, but not at the minute, because the consistency Pac's had is just insane. Obviously, McGuinness is lower than him. I love Nigel, but he's McGuinness. Sabre Jr. is probably close, but I don't think he's ahead. There's so many. And, like, I think that's the level of PAC is. I don't think people I think people recognise it, but I don't think people acknowledge it. That's what's different. And he's a gift. He's a gift to AEW. He's very much one of those guys where you're going to miss him like fuck when you're gone. But he's so, like, again, reliable that's just PAC's whole thing. He is Mr. Reliable. And the matches he gets, you very rarely get a half-assed PAC match. Very rarely you get a lackluster PAC performance. Everything about PAC screams well-worked. You know what you're getting. He's, again, reliable as hell in every sense. He works. He's brilliant. He really is. I wish to God we get another singles run with PAC. I really do. Singles title run with PAC will feed. Absolutely feed. Not that I'm against him winning multi-mans or what he's doing now. Like, the stuff with Darby was excellent. But I feel like singles run, that international run with Cassidy, that little feud they had was excellent. It really was. And I think there's just so much more there for PAC's sinister, kind of evolved, calmer nature. I think PAC being calm is more menacing than him being erratic. Not that he was like Leo Rush erratic, but you know what I mean? He was erratic to a point. And I feel like even the entrance when he's just sitting there like that just encapsulates this is a new PAC. And I love that. I just think there's so much more. PAC's very much a guy where he's perfect now. Like, what he's doing, there's no problem with it, but I just want more because he's that damn good. And it's a compliment, it really is. And do I think we get PAC singles run? Probably not, because I don't think they want to stick the belt on someone who's not always confirmed to be at the shows, which, that's kind of something I do understand. I do get. It's a shame, but I get it. I would hope PAC gets a proper run. Like, I feel like one thing, this is off topic, I'm obviously biased, I would kill for AEW to do a little mini UK tour, like a month, just doing Dynamite over here. And you could just have PAC having a belt over here. Like, for that small run, no one would be against it. Whenever you go to a UK show, PAC's over as hell. And, like, as he should be. But, Jesus, I just wish he was like that everywhere. He's that damn good. To me, again, PAC is easily to the level I don't think people realise the level of, like, the height PAC's level is. I don't. You look at moves like the Black Arrow. The Black Arrow alone is one of the best high-flying moves I've ever seen. It's insane. And how he delivers it with every bit of precision, every single time is just great. I love PAC. I love PAC. There's very little flaws with PAC. I'm not going to sit here. He's not my favourite wrestler ever. No, that's Brian. But I don't think many wrestlers could be as well-rounded, well-balanced. Everything about PAC. Not a lot of wrestlers are like that. And that's what I would quantify as close to a perfect wrestler. Again, I don't think he's better than Brian. I don't think he's better than X, Y, and Z. I don't think he's better than Kenny. People like this, the Kenny match alone, the Kenny matches are insane. But, like, I think with PAC, people don't realise that he is, in terms of perfection, there's not much more PAC can improve on. That's what's wild. There's not much more PAC could ever improve on. But, Jesus, that's like, if that's not perfection or close to perfection, I don't know what it is. Because everything's there. Technical ability, got it. High flying, got it. Speed, got it. Presentation, got it. Promos, got it. Every single thing is there. And it's to a high fucking level, by the way. A high level. Better, probably higher than a lot of other people's. And definition of well-balanced, well-rounded, but to an insane level, insane level. So there you go. Like, not saying he's perfect, because perfection's kind of an impossible standard, but Jesus, he's close to it. Because there's not much he needs improving. I think, I'm trying to articulate that better, but you get what I mean. I just don't get how PAC isn't talked about more in a higher regard, because everyone knows how good he is. But, like, we don't talk about it enough. Give the guy his flowers while he's still here, because he's that damn good. I adore PAC. So fucking good. Near perfection, whatever. He's a bastard. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Bastard PAC. And obviously AEW Death Riders, formerly known as Adrian Neville, fuck you. Let me know what you think, PAC. How high do you regard PAC? I've obviously spoke about how high I regard him. Let me know where you think PAC ranks in British wrestling ever. Actually, that's what I want to know. Where does PAC... What's your favourite PAC match, obviously, because there's so many. But Jesus, where do you think PAC ranks in terms of all-time British wrestling? Because I think that's a very interesting discussion where he's high. He's top 3. Top 5, no debate. Top 3 for me. Easy.